everyone. I'm Michael Severe, and welcome to Big Red Wrap-Up on Nebraska Media. Nebraska Public Media. Nebraska right now is in a situation where they could have the worst 6-year stretch they've ever had as a program, and that's how we start tonight. Joining us, Jay Moore, Damon Benning, and our friend from Hale Varsity, Mike Babcock. Let's just start with you, Jay. Your feelings about where Nebraska is right now with 2 games left.
Yeah, feelings aren't great, but the feelings were, I can't be surprised by them just with the injury to Casey Thompson and just seeing what they're able to do offensively. 1 touchdown since this offense has scored 1 touchdown since Casey got hurt. So just to where they at, you just gotta be look at it from a realistic point of view. I mean, listen, where this team has been, they've total role reversals, right? From offensively to defensively. Defense has got better. They struggled mightily heavily early on. They've increasingly got better game by game here, and then obviously with Casey's injury, there's nothing much this offense can do. So I can't say I'm disappointed because this is kind of what I expected, unfortunately, looking with Casey's injury and kind of the opponents they played. The Big Ten is tough, and I know you might say the West is it's a mess, it's confusing, you might call it down, but teams they still know how to win and play tough week in and week out, no matter what the injury situation is, the talent situation is. They know the Big Ten so well, and they challenge you week in and week out. And Nebraska's just been a short end of the stick, whether they just haven't been able to get the job done. And just offensively, they've been behind the 8 ball here since I've reiterated myself now for the last 4 times with Casey being hurt. But that's why Nebraska's in the situation they are. I don't think they're going to beat Michigan with Casey being healthy, but they sure as heck could have beaten Illinois. They could have beaten Minnesota, and they probably could have won these last 2 games if Casey was healthy and the defense continues on the trajectory they've been on.
What's it look like from the press box behind the microphone?
Well, I'm a little more optimistic, especially for this one, just because I think that Wisconsin is a team that's vulnerable. They've got their own issues I think that they're dealing with, whether it's internal, the coaching issues, the transition from Chris to Jim Leonard, and he's still answering questions about how that came about and whether there's tampering, not tampering. They just don't look like vintage Wisconsin, and I think if Nebraska can keep the score down, it sounds crazy to say, but Braylon Allen might be the least dynamic back they've seen in the last 3 weeks based on how he's feeling.
Right.
Let's say that out loud. For the 18-year-old phenom, he looks the most human right now of the 3 that they've seen. So I'm a little encouraged just because I think the defense is playing better now. They don't have a ton of depth, and they're getting worn down, right? There's a big difference between seeing 101 snaps like they saw against Purdue and seeing 60-some odd or 70 snaps like you did against Michigan.
Physical.
But you have the ball for 40 minutes. That's a different kind of physical than just the sheer volume of plays. So they'll have to figure that out, but I think this game will be closer than the experts think.
Second slowest team in the Big Ten last week, 30 seconds of play. That's how much they were off that clock. Like, you've seen a lot of games. You've seen a lot of times where Nebraska was in games, not in games. What was that feel watching the Michigan game?
Well, it didn't go any differently than I would have expected, given what Michigan has done defensively in particular. But, no Casey Thompson. Now no Chubba Purdy. He's out. Logan Smothers was less than healthy.
Yep.
You've got a situation like that at quarterback. How are you going to go into the big house and be effective, be successful? And the way that time of possession and the snaps have gone the last 3 games, Nebraska last 4 games, Nebraska just has, the defense has just been out there a lot. It starts to wear on you, I'm sure. But I agree with you guys. I think that Nebraska's defense has played a little better. I think that this concept of grit, I think of Will Bolt, gritty beats pretty.
Yeah.
I think they kept battling against Michigan, and I think that's all you can ask for. The thing that confused me was, why did Jim Harbaugh decide to kick a field goal with a minute 17.
Well, he doesn't pay attention
he trying to cover
betting
the
lines
spread
or anything. He doesn't pay attention to that stuff. Yeah.
What's that all about?
Yeah.
But I didn't expect to win at Michigan, but I do think that if if the mindset is right, if they can come out of that, if there's not the discouragement of what's happened of late, I still think they got a chance in these last 2 games.
Kind of a historic in terms of how bad the offense has been without Casey Thompson. You mentioned not scoring points. They're only averaging, I think, 220 yards to a game. It's just hard to watch.
It's tough. It's really hard just to get something going. We saw some success early in that Minnesota game. Whipple's offense has been really good on the first drive. You've seen it against Oklahoma and some other against Northwestern. When he's able to stay on script and follow a plan, they're pretty darn good. But as soon as some defense makes adjustments, and then obviously you're playing with backup quarterbacks, man, it's hard. And you saw when Purdy gets hurt, and you see here when just Logan Smothers comes in, and just Nebraska had some momentum going there. Then on that drive, it would be nice to see if they get in the end zone, just to get some sort of momentum going. But all of a sudden, Smothers comes in, you get the bobbling of the snaps and the shotgun. It's just this thing just kind of it gets messy, and that's what happens when you have a guy that Chuba takes majority of the snaps, I would guess, probably 60-40 during the week, and then Logan comes in. It's just a relationship issue between center and quarterback, and just the feel of everything and the cadence. Every quarterback has a different cadence back there, and how they call things and how they see things. So it's just you can't run the football. It's hard, man. It's hard to be successful when you can't throw it. You can't run it very effectively. You can't control the time of possession, and your defense is on the field too much. So it's tough, man. I don't know. I don't know how you battle those issues.
We'll continue that conversation, but first we want to hear from you. As the season winds down, there are a lot of questions swirling around. We want to do our best to help answer those questions for you. Start by calling in tonight to our call center. Our friends from the University of Nebraska's College of Journalism and Mass Communications are here manning the phones, awaiting your calls. While they wait, of course, they're enjoying some Valentino's pizza and will be hard at work taking your comments and questions. Our sports intern, hey Sam, is also here managing the team. You can text or email your comments or questions tonight, bigred@nebraskapublicmedia.org. We're also watching all the social media channels. Post your comments on Facebook or Twitter, and we'll try to get to as many of them as we can throughout the show. Here's this week's all-new sideline survey. Pretty simple. Will Mickey Joseph be the named head football coach at the end of the season? Yes, no, or the one that's certainly most popular, no, but I hope he stays on the staff. 74% of that right now. Head to the website and cast your vote. Looking for positives, Damon. There's no Miles Farmer back there. The guy you expected to be the backup for him, Phelan Sanford, gets injured. You have to take your nickel and put him back there. I think the secondary played as well as any part of Nebraska's team last week.
I completely agree. They did a good job fitting in the run game. I thought they were outstanding in some of the man-to-man coverage concepts. I mean, you came in with that game thinking that Michigan wasn't as championship caliber at the quarterback spot as some other teams play, and a lot of that was due to the way I felt like Nebraska's secondary played. So I'm a big Gifford guy. I think he's been fantastic. And his evolution has been kind of an upward ascent. I think he's just one of a handful of guys that Nebraska has, unfortunately, that can play on other teams in the Big Ten Conference. And so when you're put together like that defensively, it's always going to be a tough battle. But I did feel like the secondary played well, right along with Ernest Hausman.
I was going to ask you about Ernest Hausman. That's a kid who's 18 years old, who struggled early in the season, and he just stayed with it, and look how well he played.
10 tackles, a sack. I mean, when you're looking for positive, that's definitely a positive.
He also had a stuff where he pushed somebody backwards. How many times have we seen that this year? Not a lot.
Yeah, and that's, and it fits into this scenario of injuries because Henrich is gone.
Yeah.
And you get a young guy that stepped up. And I think he showed significant improvement from one game to the next. And what better way to show it than against Michigan in the Big House. I thought that was definitely a positive.
Damon, tell us what you know about Jared Sinek, the quarterback who will be the backup. Well, if Casey Thompson's out, the quarterback will be the backup.
Yeah, he's a good player. I liked him in high school coming out of Hastings. He's a good athlete. He's got a good live arm. It's interesting, watching practice last Tuesday and Wednesday, and I was getting ready to leave. I was just picking up my credentials, and I'm kind of watching him throw, and God, he can spin it pretty well, and I kind of liked him. And he was getting more reps. So I thought that was interesting. So it had my attention. So then I just stayed and watched, right? And he's got good command, I think, of the offense. And I'm telling you, I know it's the wrong sport because that school is down there on the 24th and Dodge, but he'll let it fly a little bit too. He is not afraid to throw the ball around the yard, and he's a better athlete than you think.
And he's a dual threat guy. He's got long hair, so when he runs, it's flowing in the wind.
Like-
He looks good out there.
He looks like Sunshine from Remember
A
the
little
Titans.
bit.
You know, that's what I was thinking.
Not as tall, but
Hey,
definitely.
well,
yeah.
we need some strong side,
yeah,
right side. We need some of that
something,
going
right?
on. That's
Yeah.
what
Hey,
we
maybe
need.
some veer looks, something to get this offense going. It'll be interesting to see if it comes down to it. I mean, listen, it'd be. I hope it doesn't get there, but what they're at in the season, just where that offensively, kind of nice to see someone come in there and just see what could happen.
Yeah.
If he has to come in and do it. I hope he's going to get some good reps this week, and I hope Casey's obviously able to play.
Yeah.
And I hope the nerve issue in his throwing arm and his fingers are okay. But it's always an interesting time when you're kind of what was it, 94, Matt Turman, K-State situation, when Brooke and Tommy are out. So
Well, LP's not there, though.
the LP and
I'd be all right.
and that offensive
These
line's not
guys
there
up
either.
front,
Yeah,
yeah.
that pipeline's not there either. So you can just kind of do what you want. So a very, very interesting situation in that QB room this week.
I think it's interesting, you guys, just to watch these coaches pour into the kids. You walk in there or you watch them, and you would never guess the record. That's for sure.
Right.
Just the way that they get after it and encourage one another. And you think in a season like this, he's getting guys like Omar Manning and Marcus Washington and some of these guys to really, Javier Morton, who talks maybe more than anybody out there at a practice.
Yeah.
That these guys are engaged and energized. Kobe Brett's making the travel roster, really getting a good solid look. Like some of the glass half full kinds of things are guys getting opportunities because you haven't won with them.
Yeah, sure.
So you can certainly win without, you can lose without them. So I think just the cycling in of new players and a new mindset has been healthy.
He goes positive, I'll go negative. With Cynic playing or being in that spot, that means he's passed up guys who are on scholarship. What does that say for Henrik Harburg or those guys?
Oh, well, I'm going to say that it speaks better for Cynic, for what he's accomplished, and that's the thing. Sometimes walk-ons don't get the kind of consideration, but they can develop into. Look at Reimer. I mean,
Sure.
Be the same kind of a thing. He passed up these guys. Is that a reflection on them? No, I think it's more a reflection on him. And I think that's the way it is with Cynic. That's one of the things that Mickey said today was that. Cynic is very athletic, and he gives them a different kind of a quarterback. And if you're going to be in a situation where you have to bring in a guy like that, it's better to have somebody that's a little bit different than what the defense is accustomed to. So Cynic is there. I like it when I have to pick up my roster and see exactly who this guy is,
Right.
which was the case there. So again, I come back to the same point that I was making is I think it speaks more to him than it does to the guys that he passed.
What do you think about the overall depth of that quarterback room?
Yeah, it's different, right? The one thing, along those lines, I think the one thing that I'd like to see is some continuity in the style of the quarterbacks that are on the roster. It just seems like Nebraska, maybe more than any, the quarterbacks have such different skill sets within the same quarterbacking room. And I think some of that is due to the fact that you've had multiple offensive coordinators in the last handful of years, and you played multiple offensive styles in the last handful of years. So it shouldn't be so dramatic, I think, in terms of what you can run and what you can't run within an offense if you're putting your quarterback room together correctly.
You got a senior day, obviously, happening as well. Those emotions. What do you think back about those emotions?
Oh, I remember mine. Yeah, I remember mine. Like it was yesterday. Played Colorado at home. We had the Big 12 North already clinched, but it was emotional. Just being a Nebraska kid, that's all you wanted to do growing up. From the time you can remember, is play football at Nebraska, and you have the gift to do it and able to play at a high level and achieve those goals. It was bittersweet because as I'm walking out with your best friends, that, and this is the last time you get to do it here, and very goosebumps. Might have been a few tears coming down, but then all of a sudden you had to suck it up real quick. You got to go to work.
Yep.
So it's definitely a roller coaster of emotion for these guys.
Felt the same way?
He's a lot more nostalgic than I am. It was kind of a blur for me. We still had kind of work left to do. I think we felt like, and I don't really remember just isolating that moment. I was just thinking, here we go. I don't, and I'm not really good with that kind of stuff. Like I'm not a photo guy or.
Were the parents on the field for you? They do it that way?
No. So
do it that way?
you give your coach a hug and
Yeah.
and they introduce you. And it was in a weird order because captains go out of order.
Right.
And so I don't remember being super emotional, but when I look back and I kind of think how a lot of what you see at 48 was a lot of what I was and what I learned at the university, I probably should have thought more of it because I didn't realize at the time how much of that was going to go hand in hand with my personality.
Yeah. Mike, I'm sure you've written many senior day columns or stories. It's so different now. We don't even know who's walking.
Yeah,
I mean,
right.
there's so many guys that could come back next year or
And
not.
some
It's-
guys
it's
may walk
difficult.
twice.
Could walk
Yeah.
twice, exactly, like Mickey said.
We get that. But, the thing that this underscores to me is that this team, despite what's happened, is that this team has stayed very close.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's a reflection on what the coaches have done. And it's a reflection on the players, that these guys have stayed together. They've given it their all. There's that grit, play to the end kind of a thing. And so that's kind of what senior day just underscores, I think, what we've seen from this team.
I heard someone, or maybe I read it, they said, what kind of motivation do they have for Wisconsin and Iowa? And I said, well, they've been Wisconsin since 2014, right? Or 2012.
2012.
Haven't been Iowa since 2014. That's enough motivation, but just to go out and play one more time out there in front of the fans.
Yeah, and for their teammates,
Yeah.
for each other. That's the thing. I think ultimately that's the important thing is they're playing for each other.
We, not me.
Yeah, that's exactly. And I think that's a character. It's not just something that we say. I think that's something we've seen.
We're looking at the longest conference losing streaks, 16 Oklahoma, and there's the 8-7 to Wisconsin and Iowa. And that really could, I'm not saying it changes everything, but you beat one of those two teams, heck, you beat both of them. All of a sudden, even though you have a losing record, it feels like a pretty good year.
Yeah, it absolutely does. It changes the dynamics of recruiting in my household too, so I'm cheering for that full go. But like on a serious note though, I like what Mike said because I think it's important. Because when you compete and you're making all these deposits during the week, those games are when you get to make some withdrawals.
Right.
And I think that's what the guys focus about. And you always want it to be about coming back to hang out with you one more day. I don't want to turn my gear in. And Nebraska has a chance to do something that they haven't done since 2012, and that's beat Wisconsin, right?
Yeah.
And in the rearview mirror, if you're going to make me travel on Thanksgiving, I'm going to get a win, right?
Mm-hmm.
I thought about that. You're going to miss Christmas for bowl games. We're going to take this thing seriously. And I like when I hear Mike say that, it's like, you kind of get really competitive because that's what it's about, is being out there with your brothers.
Said taking off the gear. That's why football is different than everything else. Maybe you go play pickup basketball. You can go hit the golf ball, play tennis.
Yep.
Once you're done playing football, you're done playing football.
Yeah, that's one sport. You can throw the football around.
Sure.
But you need 22 guys to actually play football. You need some equipment, a lot of equipment to do it. So when you're done, like there's no one saying, hey, let's go get some helmet, shoulder pads, and thigh pads, and knee pads, and cleats. Let's go lace it up. There's no one's like, you're crazy as
It's not
hell.
happening.
That's not happening. I mean, that sounds awful, but no. But yeah, it's a different game because once some of these guys will have the ability to go play afterwards professionally, and some of these guys aren't. Yeah. And that's just the reality of it. And you hope these guys can just, somehow end this thing on a high note.
What do you think happens?
I think, well, I'm going to say that I think Nebraska is going to win the game. Because I think I'd like to be wrong again. I'm consistent. I remain optimistic because of because of all the things we said. What we said about these players, I think they're due for a break, that something's going to happen in a positive sense, that they're going to have an opportunity
Well, they're
to win
due,
the game.
right?
And I think the fact that they have stuck together is going to give them the opportunity to win this game.
It's remarkable. And then what about Iowa? Since I got you here.
Well, I think that's going to be reflected in what happens against Wisconsin.
Sure.
I think. And the other thing is, it's in Iowa City.
Yeah.
And we saw what happened in Wisconsin. really kind of outplayed Iowa.
Outgained them, sacked them 6 times, lost by 14.
But it was in Iowa City, and
Yeah.
Iowa's defense stepped up. So I'll hold off on that till I see how I fare on the Wisconsin prediction.
The Dean of Nebraska journalism, right there, Mike Babcock. We appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate you
Good
having
talking
me.
to you. We always appreciate Mike coming in. Now it's time to hear from Coach Joseph and the players as they get ready for the Wisconsin matchup.
We have 12 players that's going to walk on Senior Day. That'll be a part of Senior Day. And some of them that's going to be playing their last game in Husker Stadium. You know, we want anybody considering walking that's going to be on our team next year. We want you to walk, so we want you to have that experience of Senior Day. Commend our seniors through a lot of transition. They haven't got the wins that they wanted, but they've been stand-up kids, you know, for this program. They gave their all for this program.
A lot of mixed emotions. You know, I'm going to miss everything about this university. But yeah, it'll be a little different. But at the end of the day, got to focus up, and because we got a football game to play, we want to win.
Mickey, if Casey can't play and Chubb is already out, who's your backup to Logan?
Jared will be. When you look at it as a coach, he's the most athletic one, because if you got to go to a third guy, you want him to be athletic. You don't want them all to be the same. So he can go in there and give you some run game and throw it a little bit. So that's where we're at right now.
You know, Coach Mick today in our team meeting put up 20-12 on the board, and that's the last time that we beat Wisconsin. So it'd be a huge deal. You know, they're a great football team. It's a big challenge. Really good on defense, really fundamentally sound on both sides of the ball. So we're gonna have to play really well. But you know, guys were excited this morning back into practice. The energy was there. There's no giving up. So we're ready to attack this game, and we can't wait for Saturday.
You know, we're going to control what we can control. And right now it's a 2-game season. And we talked about that with the players. It's a 2-game season, and now the most important thing on the schedule is Wisconsin, and let's go at Wisconsin, but control what you can control.
All right, welcome back into the huddle here. We only got one play to dissect tonight, so I'm going to take a little more time just to break down just more schematics of things. First off, I had this switch. This is not an even front. This is an odd front. Odd front, you have 3 down linemen. Even if you had 4 down linemen, I had that switch, but for some reason it didn't take. So anyways, I'll start over here with Caleb Tanner. 9 technique, D-gap responsibility. You got a 4-eye here, B-gap responsibility, a 0 head up. He's probably going to go A-side to the field. You got a 4-eye here, B-gap responsibility. Now you have Nelson here that I want to focus on because I love this pass rush. This is the one player we're going to focus on. Nebraska's really done a good job with their pass rush schemes. We broke down a twist stunt last week. 5 technique, C-gap responsibility here. As I run this thing, though, Garrett Nelson's going to what we call a stab chop. So you see he stabs with his inside arm, which forces the tackle to kind of get heavy, lean into him. He wants to kind of feel that he might be expecting a bull rush. So what he's going to do, he's going to bring the tackle's outside right arm, and then he's going to chop it down, stab, chop. And he does a really good job. He gets it. You're going to see the tackle's right arm gets boom, bam, right there. Gets him. Now, Garrett does a phenomenal job, what we call getting skinny and working on half a man. So the tackle does a good job of kind of leaning on him, but this is teaching tape technique. He's going to keep reaching with that outside arm. Keep reaching. It forces you to turn your hips into the quarterback. He's able to almost knock that ball out, but he does even a better job here of getting the guy down, getting a sack. Really, really good pass rush by Garrett Nelson, and that is teaching tape right there on how to run a stab chop.
A lot of guys have developed, the University of Nebraska has developed many guys from freshman to senior year. When you talk about Nelson, how much has he gotten better?
Oh, he's gotten a lot better. From the effort's always been there, but he's got it under control. He understands it's a controlled chaos out there. It's how you have to play defensively, and he's done that. He's embraced that. You know, setting that he was a guy that really, when he was playing, you had a hard time almost relying on him because he would have a lot of busts. And that's almost because he was just hair on fire, really wasn't thinking. I think the guy has done such a good job of just understanding the game more, slowing down a little bit, and that comes with maturity. The pass rush moves have developed even more. That's teaching tape right there, how to run a stab chop. So good job by him and Coach Dawson on developing all those things.
He's gotten better against the run, too,
Mm-hmm.
especially on the backside.
His responsibilities.
Yeah, just being a lot more disciplined, staying at home, playing cutback, because I mean, he used to get gashed with those cutback runs because he would get so vertical.
And slowing yourself down a little bit. I mean,
he's gotten much better against the run.
It's coaching and development. Coming up next on the show, we'll dive straight into the highlights and feature a story about giving back on the field. As we go to break, images from Saturday's game, courtesy of Hail Varsity. Stay with us. We're back soon. Welcome back to the wrap-up. Time to dive into the highlights from Saturday's game. Wasn't a whole lot of highlights, and a lot of them are Michigan's, but we will take a look at them anyway. McCarthy came out playing pretty well early. We mentioned earlier how good the secondary was on the day, but here's a nice throw to Ronnie Bell. Right? Bell.
From whom the bell tolls.
Well, the bell tolls. 25 yards for a first down. One of the few times Buford was beat all day, really. Edwards, you were mentioning, Damon, they all look alike. Edwards is a little bit more athletic, but most of them look alike.
He is. He's a little bit more, has a little bit more acceleration, but their ability to make guys miss and be patient, gosh, it was carbon copies.
Yeah, Corum's got to drive you crazy because he just is so physical at his size. It's incredible. Here's McCarthy again down the field. Another good throw in the seam. Big pass there for 28 yards for another first down.
It's a great concept.
Well, you know, you look at what Nebraska's doing. That's one of the places that they've gotten beaten this year, but not as much on the outside. Stuff outside the numbers, not as much. Nope. There's a touchdown pass there to go up 14-0. Again, Ronnie Bell for a touchdown there, one of the better athletes on the field. Purdy kind of got hot, though. Started feeling it with his legs.
Here's a drive, right before he gets hurt. We already alluded to this earlier. He's getting the feel for it, making some nice completions, stepping up in the pocket finally. I think that was harped on a lot on this week, but just making the high percentage throws, and that was a business decision right there by Latae Brown, man.
That was
going vertical like that,
what
man.
He did with his helmet right there. Is just, I'm glad he went to the blue tent and came back after playing those two 13-yard plays in a row. Then you have Purdy running. DB, you're a baseball player. Judge this slide.
Yeah, that's poor at best.
You got to do one or the other, right?
Yep,
Take the hit or slide.
Yep, exactly. And he got caught in no man's land and then ultimately ended up getting caught.
Bend his ankle back right there. And then you had low snaps most of the game, but, you know, you got Logan Smothers coming in, not used to the low snap. It happens. Nebraska has to settle for the field goal. By the way, here's something we're not talking about. Bleak Road hasn't missed in a long time.
Yeah.
Like 6 in a row?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so
he is.
He misses on Saturday. I'm
My
coming
fault?
back. That's your
Wow.
fault.
He's been very consistent.
This is Mickey saying right there, did that go in? Because it barely got over.
Right.
It was 14-13. Blake Corum again, just physical. Never gets stopped for 1 yard. It's always 4 or 7. It's just the way he runs, man. So
Low to the
physical.
ground, and he's constantly falling forward.
Another field goal here. Nebraska gets a stop.
Bizarre drive.
It was.
Bizarre drive.
In the
How
half?
he
They didn't
took
call
his
timeout?
timeouts with
Yeah.
him and declining the penalty. It was weird.
It was a very strange game overall. Again, 30 seconds per play. One of the slowest in the country this past weekend. Blake Corum again with a big run.
When's the last time you've seen an insert and 2 pullers on one run play?
They run the.
I mean, that's
See,
good
that's
old-fashioned
that's-
student body
You
right.
know where you see it? The Niners when Harbaugh was the coach for them.
Yep.
That's where you saw it.
Frank Gore.
McCarthy runs in for a touchdown, 24-3. And then McCarthy was another nice pass down the field. I don't know if he's good enough to win a national championship. He's good enough, obviously, to get them there to the Final Four, but I don't know. That play is crazy. With the fumble, ball goes out of bounds. They missed the call. They just did. That
I would
happens.
agree. Real time, I thought it was on the end line, but I mean, it's 24-3 at that point, and Nebraska maybe gets the ball back, and they didn't score again. But how about that effort right there?
That's like a hockey.
Yeah.
The slide stop. It was incredible that he did that. And then he loses it going in the end zone and rolls to the back. That goes down, by the way, as a passing touchdown. Even though you have the
That's why you
fumble.
can't just look at stats.
I know, man. I can passing
Get a
touchdown. What
better
happened?
angle back there.
That's
This was not-
the angle.
That's not a good enough. This wasn't good enough.
Yeah, I thought that was enough. So Moody gets a field goal. Again, we talked about it. The line was around 30, or maybe 29, maybe 28, 34, 31, whatever the number was, you get the cover. Final stats in the game, and it's like you expected. Michigan held the ball, as Damon said, for most of the game, for a good 35 minutes, 412 yards, and 264 yards rushing to Nebraska's 75.
When's the last?
For high school athletes, the opportunity to play at the next level is slim. Some look to finding advice and training outside of school-organized sports to get them prepared mentally and physically. An unlikely duo is hoping to help that next generation of athlete focus on serving underprivileged young players and setting them up for success.
Everybody's like, oh, there it is. Look at that.
I've lived a pretty full life for being 40, and most of that can be attributed to football. The relationships it's allowed me to create, the people that I've met, the opportunities that have fell into my lap,
There it is. Good.
some of the wisdom that it's given me, some of the toughness that it's given me.
Everybody said hit. Good. Excellent.
Mike Goolsby was a high school All-American, a Notre Dame captain and inside linebacker, and he had a brief stint in the NFL with the Dallas Cowboys and the St. Louis Rams.
Your progression from high school to college to the NFL, and there's some wasted time there because you're trying to get caught up as far as like the football stuff, technique, keys, all those things. So I was like, man, if I could prevent a kid having to waste that time and ramp up his development, I want to do that.
My first time training with him, I actually didn't even know what a cover 2 or a cover 3 or any of that football stuff was.
I'd say the biggest thing that he first told me was my stance, because as a D lineman, your stance and your get off means everything. And if you're explosive off the ball, that's about like 50% of your game right there.
It was really born out of, as I like to say, when I was done with football, or when football was done with me, it left a huge void. And frankly, I didn't know what else to do. So I just started training kids. Kind of a give back, and selfishly for me, it was really cathartic. Kind of helped me move on past football as a player.
Good.
Sometimes it takes more to get noticed by a college coach. So Mike works with his athletes on things like building a highlight reel, preparing for camps, and navigating the recruitment process. The training is effective, and Mike says that's because it's all one-on-one.
So you can really take your time and be very particular in terms of your training. And then beyond that, you can build a closer relationship with the kid.
Yeah.
And that's really the fun part. Is just take a kid, we don't know each other, but trust me, this is gonna be fun. And I don't think I could do that if it wasn't done on a one-on-one basis.
Avante Dickerson was the first athlete Mike worked with. A sophomore at Omaha Westside, Avante already had a lot of natural ability.
Top from Daly into the end zone and picked off by Dickerson.
Well, it goes nervousness for probably the first couple plays, but once you get rolling, I just love the feeling. I love being out there. That's the thing. With all those fans,
you could just tell being around the game as long as like this kid's got something. Came to me as a wide receiver, switched him over to corner, and it worked out for him.
I mean, he played at the next level, so whatever he says, you can just take it and just learn from him. And that's really what I did.
Avante had a lot of success on the field, even when things weren't so easy at home.
I grew up in North Omaha, really rough nights. Bullets have come through the house. My house been robbed plenty of times.
Man, like, great kid. I see so much of myself in him when it comes to his background and his beginnings. Not having the options that a lot of other kids have the options to get.
Ken Fox has volunteered with youth sports programs in North Omaha for over a decade. In 2015, he co-founded the Black Police Officers Association, a nonprofit focused on bridging the gap between the community and law enforcement.
I tell people all the time, you know, I'm a police officer. I'm here to serve and protect. But if it wasn't for sports, if I didn't play football, if I didn't go to college to play football, I probably would be robbing you because of the background and the people that raised me and the culture that was around me.
Ken's organization offers free sports to Omaha youth, primarily for kids from places where violence hits hard. That's how he knows Avante, coaching him in Little League Baseball. Their relationship grew from there.
My father really wasn't in my life how he's supposed to be, but Ken really stepped up and really played that role. We're pretty much family. I love him to death.
That's my goal, and that's what I focus on doing for Avante, is just giving him opportunities and giving him someone to talk to and hang out with.
Avante's interests evolved to football, and when Avante said he was working with a trainer, Ken was skeptical and he wanted to know more. But then he got to know Mike and his work. And after Avante got a scholarship to play football at the University of Oregon, the two began thinking about how they could help other kids.
Not everybody's gonna end up being the #1 player in the state, but my mission for kids is to get their school paid for, to get college paid for at whatever level possible.
And that's one of the first things I told him. I don't care if you make D1 athletes. If I can take a kid from North to South Omaha, the disadvantaged, and they go to an NAIA school, that's a win for me. That's the same win as if they go to Alabama, to me personally.
It shouldn't be an instance where if a family can't afford training or they can't afford to drive to X, Y, or Z, that shouldn't be a limiting factor behind that kid pursuing a goal. This kid might have some ability, this kid's got some promise, this kid's just a great kid, you know, he deserves to have a shot to work with somebody. You know, Jamison Kemp would have been one of those kids.
Football's kind of like a therapy for me. You can really go out on the field and just let it all out.
Jamison Kemp, an Omaha Central defensive tackle, wants to become an economist and a CEO of a Fortune 500 company. But after a standout career as a collegiate and professional football player, he was another one of Fox's little leaguers.
Jamison had to work extra hard to get where he's gotten in life, and he's been extremely passionate about it.
After working with Mike, Jamison showcased his skills to coaches from all over the country at a summer camp. He walked away with 3 Division I offers.
But all I know is we got in the car, family, dad yelling, screaming, mom crying. It was just an amazing feeling.
He's like, Coach, I got great news. I got these 3 offers. And I was just like, praise God, man. I get emotional talking about it. So that's crazy. But I was just like, you know, he deserves it. You're prepping for it. The moment comes and you knocked it out of the park. And like, that's so cool to me. I mean, it's so fulfilling.
There it is, that's it.
The core issue is that there are kids that wouldn't have the ability to pursue a higher level of training that shouldn't get lost in the shuffle. That's gonna be my focus, helping kids that are committed, that might not have the resources otherwise, and they shouldn't get shortchanged in that process.
Helping young athletes achieve their dreams and creating mentors in the process.
So let's try and piece it up. peak and then throw off. Does that make sense?
I have a servant heart, and so I believe that giving back is something that we're put here on this earth to do. See kids that were like you, and then support them like you got supported. And so I absolutely have brought them in and made them mentors to younger kids.
Okay, good.
For me, I want to have young athletes look at me and see like, oh, he's doing that. I want to follow his footsteps.
Oh, there it is. Good. Good job, Jameis. Good job.
Thankfully, I had great parents and great friends who were there for me. I know there are a lot of kids in bad situations who might need a positive figure in their life to really come and just uplift them and keep them on the right track. So I always feel like volunteering and giving back is just a big, important part of what I do.
Because the next Jamison Kemp, the next Avante Dickerson, they're out there.
Good. Stay square. That looks beautiful. That's a nice rep. That looks beautiful.
Always great to see stories about young kids and succeeding, and great to see Avante in that Oregon green.
Yeah, small world, right? It's Mike and I got off to kind of a slow start. He was always at Westside and just training a couple of kids, and I just wanted to make sure that he was in it for the kids.
Sure.
And not for the accolades. And so he and I went back and forth on social media. We finally talked, and as you can see, he's at Westside a ton, using a lot of Westside gear, and I know a lot of our coaches were like, hey, what's this guy doing? He's a good guy, and he's for kids, and I think that ultimately was what won everybody over. He is for kids, and so it's kind of funny how things come full circle.
We have a winner in our game day photo contest. Aaron Kelly tweeted this photo to us saying that even in Franklin, Tennessee, they bleed red. Thanks to Husker Red, of course. Thanks for the photo, Aaron. Don't forget to send us your very best game day photo each week for a chance to win great prizes on the show. Next up, Sean Callahan is here. We will set up and talk about the talented group playing in next week's NSAA state championship games. But first, another look from Saturday, courtesy of Hail Varsity. Back in 2. Be sure to vote on this week's Sideline Survey. Will Mickey Joseph be named head football coach at the end of the season? You can say yes, 18%, no, say 9%, but 73% say choice number 3, no, but I hope he stays on the staff. Make sure you visit our website and cast your vote. Welcome back to the show. Michael Severe with Sean Callahan. Visitors from the last game, what was it like?
Well, obviously, visitors coming in this game. No visitors, at Michigan. But you look at this week moving forward, really the only notable name coming in from out of state that we know of today is Arnold Duda Barnes, the running back from New Orleans. He'll be coming in for another unofficial visit for the game on Saturday. We'll get a better idea by Thursday, kind of what that group is going to look like. But yeah, I don't expect Mickey Joseph to move any major chips as far as bringing in official visitors just because of the uncertainty. Nebraska has about 30 official visits left they can use right now for the remainder of the cycle. The other notable thing is everybody that's come in once for an official visit, they will be allowed to make another official visit to Nebraska, whether they're a commit or not. Because of the coaching change. So it will be, something to watch, as the new coach or how things shake out, because a lot of these guys will come in again and kind of have a new visit.
Barnes more than 300 total yards in the playoff game. They ended up losing, but he had a heck of a game with 275 yards rushing. Let's talk about some of the talent that's going to be in these championship games.
Yeah, a lot of talent. You look first here, obviously the Class D games will kick things off in the morning, but you've got Gretna Westside in Class A, Part 2 from a year ago, and that might be one of the more anticipated finals that we've had in a number of years.
Might be the biggest crowd.
And it's warming up. The forecasts for that are getting warmer. I'm seeing 50s now on Monday, so we should have a great crowd for that game. Let's run through some of the notable prospects in this game. Or all the games. In Class C1, Carlos Collazo, the nephew of former Husker Andrew Rodriguez, a running back that's going to go for another 2,000-yard year. Probably more of a Division II type guy, but just had an outstanding career. Jake Garcia at Omaha Gross. He has had now 3 consecutive 1,000-yard seasons. The Cougars, the smallest school in Class B, in fact, they could have played C1, opted up. They are undefeated, and they'll square off against Bennington. You've got Trey Bird. You look at his numbers.
Talented Bennington team.
He has put up massive efficiency numbers as a passer, and they've got the depth. I think when you look at Gross, they've got the great senior class led by Garcia and that offensive line. Bennington's got a lot of guys that just play one way, not a lot of two-way players. Right. Very good receivers. That's going to be a great game to watch. Then Benjamin Bramer, what's notable about him from Pierce, another 1,000-yard season, but he's visited Iowa State. He is looking at the Cyclones. He's just making sure he's got his options out there because of the coaching change. So that is something to watch with Benjamin Bramer from Pierce because he is also looking now at Iowa State. And then Cade Piper from Norfolk Catholic. We saw him a year ago against Fremont Bergen in the championship game. He was a recent commit to North Dakota State, flipped, and went to Iowa as a scholarship offensive line commit. So that's one of those classic 2-3 year developed guys, and Iowa has made a move on Cade Piper. He goes about 6'4", 240, 250, kind of built like Ethan Piper, the current Husker that also came out of Norfolk Catholic.
Let's go over to Class A and look at Westside first.
Yeah, you look at Class A, a number of guys for Westside, 2 of them on the right transfers, but Anthony Rizek, maybe the best dual threat guy in the state, 1,000-yard rusher, nearly 2,000 through the air passing. Just an outstanding athlete, and that's probably where he projects at the next level as athlete. He can play a number of spots. Then the man on the set, son, Caleb Benning, one of the top prospects for 2024 in Nebraska. He has missed the last 9 games with injury, expected to return on Tuesday night for that state championship game.
Nice.
Then Christian Jones followed Paul Amaji from Omaha Burke. He's a 2025, but he has several Power 5 offers. Nearly all of the Big Ten West has offered him. Then Jalen Lloyd, the son of former Husker great All-American track athlete Dahlia Ingram, who won the 100, the long jump, the triple jump, got 4th in the 200. He is a transfer from Central to Westside, and he'll be a guy to watch as well. And will he be a track guy or a football guy at the next level will be the other question.
Check out Gretna now.
And then looking over now at Gretna, you got Zane Flores, arguably one of the better quarterbacks that we've seen come from the state of Nebraska in a long time. Corver Dema, a Husker walk-on linebacker there in the middle, and then Mason Goldman, who has several Power 5 offers, Nebraska being one of them.
Yeah, he's our in-state as well. About 6'6", 220 or so?
Oh, no, 6'6", 280.
280?
Yeah,
oh, wow.
I think they had
I said 260.
He goes 280. You look at Mason Goldman, he could play O-line, he could play D-line. He's got Kansas, he's got Arizona State, he's got a number of Power Fives. Nebraska's obviously one of those. Grew up a Husker fan. I think if he had a better idea what was going on in Lincoln, he'd probably be a Husker right now. But he wants to evaluate things, look things over, and see kind of how the coaching things come through. But yeah, Mason Goldman has a great frame, can play a lot of positions, and he will anchor things up front for that Gretna Dragon offensive line.
Got a pick in that game real quick?
Somebody asked me this week, and I'm on the broadcast, so there's a rule when you're on the broadcast, you can't predict
Plus, Damon's behind you.
And Damon's behind me. That was my other. But I will say, I think talent-wise, Westside's got the edge.
Sure.
Togetherness, team-wise, Gretna. I mean, a lot of those kids grew up together, playing probably ball since they were 7, 8-year-old kids. It's going to be an outstanding football game.
Look forward to it soon. You
tried to get me.
I tried to get you. Don't forget to tune in next Monday and Tuesday for all-day coverage of the 2022 NSA Football Championships. We're going to crown 6 champions over the course of the day, starting at 10 a.m. both days. You can find them, of course, on Nebraska Public Media and streaming on our website and app. Time to take a look around the Big Ten. Penn State blanked Maryland 30-0. The Boilermakers rolled over number 21 Illinois 31-24, leaving the Big Ten West wide open, and Iowa badgered Wisconsin to a victory 24-10. All right, let's dive into another one of the coaching candidates for Nebraska. This week we're going to look at Jeff Monken, the head coach at Army, a guy who's been a head coach at 2 different stops and won at both of them. He's also the first Army coach, believe this or not, to take Army to 3 consecutive bowl games. Think about how good they've been at different times. 3 consecutive bowl games. First one to do that, and of course 1 conference championships at Georgia Southern as well. A really good coach. The question is, what kind of offense would he run if he moved up to a level like Nebraska?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to have some sort of triple or option component to it, even if it isn't ground and pound.
Yeah.
In terms of, running the football. But I tell you what, you want discipline, you want structure.
Oh, yeah.
And you want a style of play. He'll check all 3 of those boxes.
Yeah, I know we've talked about him before, but if you want offensive line play too, I mean, this is a guy who can certainly give you that.
Oh, without a doubt. It's one of the prospects who's kind of mentioned last week on the show that's kind of crept up there and kind of I'm liking more and more. I know he doesn't have the cachet, the sexiness, whatever you want to call it, but I like what the man's about. What he's able to do with less at Army. I mean, he's dealing with guys to play football, and football's not the most important thing. They're at school to provide a service to the United States of America.
Right.
And football's a secondary thing. There's so much other things with their schedules, and what he's able to get of them is very, very impressive. But yeah, offensive line-wise, developing that front 5 there into what you want to do, whether it's option football, but what he has systematically, I think, would work very, very well in the Big Ten going forward.
It'd be nice. Matt Rule rumors, obviously, everywhere. What have you heard?
Who? No, yeah, it's it's obviously been hot and heavy with Matt Rule this week. He's kind of the flavor of the week, but it's legitimate. I think Matt Rule is an obvious candidate for a lot of reasons based on his availability, based on he kind of comes with a $40 million coupon on terms of getting him because of what the Carolina Panthers have to pay him out. But, what we don't know is what does he want? We haven't heard Matt Rule come out and say, I want to get into coaching. Rick Neuheisel was on his radio show Friday and said he thinks he'll sit the year out. But then you hear other things that he was in Lincoln over the weekend, which, he was at Super Saver apparently, by the way.
I saw some pictures, yeah. It didn't look like him by me at all. So thoughts on Matt Rule?
Yeah, I mean, listen, you get a guy that has been a part of program building and rebuilding.
Yes.
So he has that familiarity. And listen, he's a professional, so he'll know he'll handle the media well, and he understands how to do things his way, which I think is kind of a low-key trait that a coach needs that wants to coach here. Is you have to be you have to have some resolve and some conviction about how you do your job.
Yeah, and he went to Texas and hired Texas guys to help him out. Overall, recruiting, has it been harmed? Is it going the same? What's your overall feeling?
Well, the Bramer piece this last week, I mean, that was kind of a big blow. I mean, you think about a guy from Pierce, Nebraska, you're like, all right, this guy's going to be a Husker no matter what. So they've done a fairly good job, though, I think, in general, of holding the line. But what's that going to look like if, say, Mickey Joseph's gone and some of these assistants that have the relationships, will the new coach, the new staff be able to kind of relight those relationships. They get that other official visit too, and December 22nd is the first signing day. So there will be an opportunity, you would hope, for all of these commits to get back to Lincoln and meet the new coach and kind of get an idea of things.
Tim on Facebook, Damon asked about Harburg. What have you seen from him in practice? What do you think of his game overall?
Yeah, so I think the thing with Harburg isn't really about his talent. Have you ever been like the student that's raising your hand, or maybe the guy that wants to go out on the date and you're raising your hand? They're like, hey, I'm here, and everybody's kind
looking
of
around, looking
around for the next deal. So I think for him, the degree of difficulty has been self-belief and kind of staying the course when maybe you don't feel as coveted as some other guys in the room.
Who you want to come back? There's a lot of these guys who could come back. Obviously, Trey Palmer could be one of them, and Casey Thompson could be one of them.
Yeah, it would be nice to get Trey back. It'd be interesting to see just these last couple games, not putting up the stats he obviously was doing, how that has an effect. But I think NFL scouts like listening to a quarterback.
Right.
I still think he goes to the next level. He's a good one. Oh, man, I tell you what. I mean, having Garrett Nelson, he talked about potentially not walking, having him come back. I think he's improved a ton. I'd love to have him back. His energy, his grit.
He'd be a 24-year-old. Yep.
Hey,
be a grown man.
Get your master's.
Yeah, exactly.
While you're here. So there's a handful, but I think those two would be my top two offensive defensively.
All right, let's go to burning questions. Go ahead, Sean.
What will that quarterback position look like for Nebraska on Saturday? Will we see Casey Thompson? If not, what will Logan Smothers look like in that type of situation? And then finally, we'll get into Jarrett Sinek. Will they have to play the walk-on from Hastings?
Yeah, well, can you do it one more time? And that is, can you get up for another physical ground and pound team and another top flight caliber running back where you as a defense give your offense a chance to win a football game?
Are we going to see the same Wisconsin we kind of saw all year? You know, Graham Mertz struggling, Brandon Allen struggling, offensive line struggling, or is Jim Leonard able to find something to get this team going the last couple of games to get into a bowl game?
You can get 20-plus touches for Anthony Grant. That's really been the difference in Nebraska staying in games and looking really good in games as well. That's a question I know, Damon, you think about, getting him touches, right?
Exactly. He's got to be a 20 to 25 touch guy. I don't care if it's 20 runs, 4 receptions, 19 runs, 6 receptions. He needs to be in that low 20 mark.
Yeah, and that's how he gets going, too. He gets all greased up and runs pretty well. Don't forget to head to our website and click on the prediction. Jay, Damon, and I will tell you exactly what to expect on Saturday. Of course, the Huskers return home for Senior Day, and they welcome in the Wisconsin Badgers to Memorial Stadium. Kickoff is scheduled for bright and early, 11 a.m. Central, but it's on Big ESPN. Because of NSAA football championships, we'll be back to break down the game against the Badgers next Wednesday evening at 7 p.m. Central with our guest Brian Christopherson from 24/7 Sports. Our thanks to Mike Babcock for joining us, Sean Callahan, of course, our student volunteers in the call center for joining us tonight. For Jay Moore and Damon Benning, I'm Michael Severe. We'll see you next week on Big Red Wrap-Up.